Third on the main card. When I saw this matchup, I was so excited. I was freaking out. Joanna Jedrzejczyk is coming back, and she's fighting against Weili. I'll go ahead and let you kick this one off, Fern. Give me your thoughts on this matchup.
This is going to be a crazy fight. Fight of the night. Fight of the night. Fight of the night. And I think that they're going to come out and, show people what I think the last main event or main card women's fight should have been. That disappointing fight with Bros. I think these two are just going to come out. They come at each other and go at each other. Their technique, their style, they're both stand-up. They don't back down. I want to say that they're the kind of have a good game plan, but I think ultimately they're, clawing their way to the top, and they've shown it repeatedly. They just have great style, great pace, great everything, great technique. I'm always excited to see these two fight. Joanna, I want to see her become champion again. I think she has that chip on her shoulder to be like, I'm gonna get it back, and unfortunately she hasn't come close. I want to say, she's been there, but I would like to see either one of them fight for the title. I don't, given the outcome of the last Rose fight, I don't want to see a Rose rematch for that title. I want to see somebody new. and Weili has just been brutal, up until her losses. Just the loss of the KO head kick to Rose, that was really unfortunate, unlucky, but she came back in the rematch and took it to the decision, and that's great. That was a crazy fight. Let me see you do that with other people, and I'm so excited about this. This guaranteed fight of the night. The women have been just stepping it up. I'm more excited for the women fights than the other fights. Absolutely. I am gonna lose my mind, and this is gonna be crazy being in Singapore, being near where there's a lot of Asian population. It's gonna be crazy. I want to see some fireworks, some just music, some techno, take me back to Pride days. This is gonna be nuts.
Yeah, and both of these fighters, they're so tough, they're so durable. Like you said, Weili showed that in that second Rose fight, that the first time really was a fluke. That was not, not a fluke in that, she should have beat Rose, but that second performance, I think, really showed, what she's capable of. She either improved or she, the first time she fought Rose, she just wasn't at the top of her game. Well, she came right back and, yeah, like you said, had that great match. Even though she lost, it was still an amazing fight. With Joanna, the crazy thing is she's got how many? 6. She's won the championship 6 times. Since then, she's fought for the championship 4 times and lost the last 4 times that she's fought for the belt. So I feel like the deck is stacked against her in that regard. For whatever reason, she's just not been able to get that belt back. But yeah, I would love to see her win the belt more than anything, just because, she's a lot more entertaining than Weili. She's a great shit talker. I loved watching her on The Ultimate Fighter. Way back, I thought that was, one of my favorite seasons, because she's just always playing the mental games right in her opponent's face, talking crap, not backing down. And yeah, and whenever she steps into the ring, she's going to bring it. Win or lose, every fight that I've seen her in is a great fight. And yeah, Joanna is a great striker. As far as the style matchup, I feel like Weili might have the advantage in wrestling, but I'm not sure that Weili is going to use it. I feel like after watching that Rose fight, even though there was a bit of wrestling, it wasn't super wrestling heavy. I don't know if part of that is because Rose's movement, she was able to negate a lot of that wrestling. But Joanna, I feel like, is not quite as fast as Rose and can't cover quite as much ground as quickly. So I'm wondering, is this a match where Weili, her game plan going in is going to be to try to utilize her wrestling to negate Joanna's striking, or is she just going to want to stand up? Does she have something to prove? Because I feel like Weili kind of has the attitude of, I feel like we saw after the first Rose fight, she wanted to get right back in there and go again. She's got that kind of attitude that she's kind of got something to prove, even though she's already champion, great fighter. I mean, doesn't have anything to prove. She's won the championship twice, fought now for the championship 4 times, seemingly came out of nowhere. Her first UFC fight was in 2018. Fast forward a couple years and she fought and won for the belt. So she's already had a great career in the UFC, even though she hasn't had a ton of fights. So I feel like doesn't have a lot to prove, unless in her mind, she's aiming for greatness and she wants that belt and to reign on top for a long time. So I'll be rooting for Joanna. I feel like maybe if I've got to make a logical pick, things are probably leaning towards Weili, just because another thing taken into account too, Joanna's activity. Last time she fought was March in 2020.
She fought Weili.
So over 2 years ago.
Yeah, so it just...
And she fought Weili. Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, and she lost against Weili. I mean, that too was a good fight. It was a split decision loss. So I don't feel like the result of the last one tells us a lot. Go forward 2 years, Joanna's had the chance to adjust. Weili's had the chance to adjust, and it was such a close fight. I don't know how much. Yeah, I mean, if it was a complete blowout and Joanna just got stomped, I'd say that last fight meant a lot more. But if a few sequences went slightly differently, then Joanna would have come out on top. So I think it's going to be a close one, but I do feel like it's leaning a little bit in favor of Weili. Probably the biggest factor to me is the activity. Joanna hasn't fought in over 2 years, and Weili just fought back in November. And so as far as my logical pick is going to be Weili, probably to win. If I had to guess how it's going to end, probably by decision, but I'll actually probably be rooting for Joanna.
Yeah, I'd love to see Joanna come back and shake things up. And it's just interesting with these decisions, like how close we were to having completely different outcome. Weili beat Joanna by split decision. What if it went the other way? Same thing. Weili lost to Rose her last fight by split decision. What if it went the other way? It's just, I am excited because either way, I think a case could be made for either one of those fights for it to have gone either way. And it's just good to see that they are facing each other and pitting the top women against each other. And hopefully that one of them will be fighting for the title next. I after that fight, I don't want to see Rose, a Rose rematch. I don't know what she's got to do, because I don't know, her corner was very not receptive to any advice, and they were, they're an amazing team. They, it was, we talk them up about, like, they have a great corner, and Justin Gaethje and Rose and Usman all trained together, and they fought together and been cornered together, and they just did not do well that fight card at all. So
yeah, and if you go back and just listen to the talks in between rounds in that Rose fight, that was the weirdest cornering advice that I don't know. I could, like, the last one that comes to mind before that was the one with Eddie Bravo and Tony Ferguson, where Tony's getting completely destroyed and Eddie's like do an Imanari roll or something like that. And then but Tony was so out of it at that point, he didn't. I don't know if you remember that fight. Eddie's like, I shouldn't have been your quarter man. He was just like filled in the emergency. I think we talked about it in one of the previous podcasts. It was a whole weird thing. But every once in a while you get the insight into the corner. And sometimes corner advice, you think maybe it's not the greatest, but how much can you really do? Well, in this last one, I feel like the corner made a huge difference in Rose's fight, because they set such horrible expectations about the way the fight was going, where they were encouraging her to do nothing. Very weird. Anyway,
that one stat that was like the whole fight, the whole Rose fight had like 60 something strikes, and like the Gaethje Oliveira fight in its short length had just as many. So like 25 minutes versus like 3 minutes, same amount of strikes, and that just goes to show you know, same corner people, same everything, just a different approach to, you know, how they were trying to go. One of them was trying to win the belt, the other one was trying to defend it. And
yeah. So what's your prediction on this one?
I think Weili, just because her level of activity and the quality of that activity she's had. Yeah, she got KO'd by the head kick, but that rematch with Rose just showed how, like, wow, you're just like, I thought Rose was gonna knock her out again, and for her to come out and hold her own, and you know, I thought it was close enough that like I would have been like, either whoever wins is fine with me, but definitely like. I think she proved everyone wrong. Like that first one, there's no fluke kicks, no fluke whatever, but you know, that was definitely a combination of perfect circumstances for Rose's win over her.